Good day to you. Episode 75 of Three Things with Ian. Another milestone to cross off the list. On today's episode, it is Selection Sunday, so we will talk March Madness. We will also talk about the Caitlin Clark effect, still alive and well. And we will talk about a small Catholic school who made the impossible a reality. And last, digital hygiene. This is new for me. I want to discuss it with you. It is a fascinating topic. So buckle your audiovisual seatbelts and let's dig in. So, today is Selection Sunday, March Madness. This is the day where we can do our brackets if we so choose. Tonight they will release the 68 teams. Really, there's 64, but there's those stupid playing games, which no one understands, including myself. We can pencil in the top four seeds right now. Auburn, Duke, Florida, and Houston. We got some blue bloods in there. All big schools, all big sports schools. Auburn kind of is the story. It's the resurgence, maybe the emergence, maybe, of the SEC basketball. We may have 14 teams out of like 18 teams make it into the big dance. Seems a little unfair, seems a little unbalanced, but the SEC, as you recall, did bring in some new schools lately, including Texas and some other schools which historically do better in basketball. So they will have a preponderance. Perhaps not that many going forward, but they have a lot of teams in the bracket this year. UNC, talking of blue bloods, the Tar Heels, right? Michael Jordan, Dean Smith, an essential part of the usually playoff basketball picture. They might be on the brink. They might be one of the last four teams out. They might miss the big dance for the second time in the last 3 years, which would be quite outstanding, not in a good way, for them. So, like I said, we had the Houston Cougars. They cut down the nets on the Big 12. And the Blue Devils, without Cooper Flagg, who's a Mainer, rare basketball player from Maine. He's the number one consensus best player in the college game this year. They won the ACC for an automatic bid. They would have made it as an at-large bid. So I guess just to back up slightly, a lot of teams win their conference, get an automatic bid. Those are smaller conferences like the MAC, where Western Michigan plays. They did not advance this year. And then there's a lot of not at will, but there's a lot of just playing. There's a lot of teams that their body of work, their resume, they have done enough to warrant inclusion into the 64 teams. So Tennessee versus Florida SEC Championship, that has not been played yet. Could a Tennessee win, though, knock Florida off the top line? Time will tell. So that's the story on the men's side. And on the women's side, though, I'm happy to report that the Caitlin Clark effect is alive and well. It kind of goes to show you, I'm reading Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about the tipping point, and he talks about the way that a single person or persons can sort of move the tides of history. There's no denying it that Caitlin Clark is the preeminent name in female basketball. Since she has graduated from Iowa. She is not a Hawkeye anymore, but what she's done for the game, I'm not saying it's just her, but it's freaking amazing. So much so that women's college hoops is outpacing men's games on Fox this year for viewership. I'm hearing that both men's and women's they will break records for the most money, the most brackets, the most interest in the big dance is at its peak. And for women, though, that is a huge rise. That is a meteoric rise. Probably 5-10 years ago, there would have been a huge gap between interest and viewership. I use my hands a lot, I realize, in these episodes. But anyway, this is interesting. This is something that is a landmark moment. You know, you hear people on the playground, hypothetically, launching up a three and say, Clayton Clark, you know? Like they used to say Kobe or Curry. This is a big deal. I don't always like the fact that the narrative focuses on one person because there's a lot of other fantastic women basketball players and athletes surrounding her, but it is something to behold. The last little March Madness thing, and I should set this up. We should do a poll. Those who want to do brackets, let's talk about our brackets when it comes down to making those selections. You can flip a coin. You can say who has the cuter mascot. It is hard to predict these games. It has gotten harder with parity. Everybody has good players. The gap between the seeds has shrunken considerably. I remember when I was an undergrad, one bracket I just put all 4 number 1 seeds to advance to the Final Four, and they did. And that could happen. Those days are probably over, or they're less common. Here's a Cinderella story though for you. St. Francis University in small town Loretto, Pennsylvania. Famously, the coach said that it is not in the middle of nowhere. It is an hour away from the middle of nowhere. A little town home to a little Catholic college, St. Francis University, the Red Flash, it's not plural. They beat a Central Connecticut State University team 46-43. What a barn burner. What a high-scoring affair. To punch their ticket, they won their small conference, the Northeast Conference. It's not small. Same amount of teams as everyone else, but smaller colleges. There's no blue bloods there, let's put it that way. So they're not a great team. They are 13-17. They are one of 6 or 7 losing teams over the past couple of years who have made it. Like I said, one of the caveats to the March Madness is if you win your conference, you get an automatic bid, regardless of what your record looks like. For most teams, the teams that are winning their conferences, they have a winning record. Not so much for Little Loretto. Anyway, they are going to obviously probably get a 15 or 16 seed, maybe a 14 seed because they're a conference champion. St. Francis University, I know it is St. Francis College, but it is a university. It was founded in 1847 by 6 Irish Franciscan friars. It is the oldest Franciscan institution of higher learning in the United States. And so they've had some good basketball teams. Marie Stokes, I believe, was an NBA player. But anyway, this little St. Francis team made its way to the big dance for the first time in a long time. I was flipping, 1991. So 91. Yes, so there are full-grown adults who are of drinking age who have never seen this team in the big dance, in any medium-sized dance for that matter either. Go Red Flash. I do not think I will have them advancing to the second round, but I have been wrong before. And as I say this, I will probably be wrong again. So we will talk more about March Madness. It is a large cultural impact. It is when men get vasectomies because they can sit home and watch basketball. It is also when you have not premier games per se, but you have games at 10:15 in the morning and 2:30 in the afternoon. So it is a lot of basketball crammed in a small amount of time, and then at the end there seems to be a big gap between the Elite Eight and the championship game, which will be at 9:30 at night, and no one can watch it because it's too late. Anyway, let's move on to our third and final thing. Digital hygiene. This is something that I saw in an article, and I said this is a topic we must discuss. Essentially, hygiene, as the word hygiene, you understand what that means. Digital hygiene is your inbox, is your voicemail box a mess? Is it full? Is it stuffed? Do you have thousands of unread emails? Do you have labels? Do you have the proper tabs? What is your digital hygiene? Mine is poor. I usually have 1 or 2 open voicemail slots. I occasionally, every 6 months, get a message saying my voicemail box is full. I don't like voicemails. My phone is essentially a pager. If you call it, I see the number, I will call back or text. My Gmail, I have hit the gap. I have 100 gigabytes of files in Gmail, from photos to emails. It's chaos. I made tabs. I made nested folders. I have not used them. I'm bombarded with them. I'm trying to unsubscribe to things. We live in a world where that is very next to impossible to do so successfully, or it takes what feels like 2 months to unsubscribe from a list. Probably a different topic for a different day. Digital hygiene. Mine is a mess. It is something that I need to get better at, but it takes time, and I choose to spend my time in other places, including with you guys on this type of venture. So curious what you think of digital hygiene, if that's a term you've heard. Some of you will have 0 unread messages in your Gmails and Yahoos and Hotmails, and some of you, like me, just have thousands of gross emails that are unread and unfiltered and just all over the place. And text messaging, I read them all so that I don't have that notification on my screen, but a lot of them I don't reply to, or I don't bookmark or do anything that I'm supposed to. What does your digital hygiene footprint look like? Is that something that you want to aspire to improve in 2025? And also, back to March Madness. Let's start talking March Madness. Tomorrow or Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll probably do an episode where I reveal my bracket. I'll do a contest. Maybe I can do like an NPR, a personalized voicemail on the winner's phone if that still exists, like a landline or a phone. Anyway, enough of me. Enjoy the weather. It is snowing here once again. I don't understand why. Be above the line. I will see you tomorrow. Share, like, subscribe, smash all the buttons that you need to do, and good day to you all.